like to talk about the 33rd gene key since we're still in the energy and activation of this gene key. Right now, up until Sunday, we'll be experiencing forgetting, mindfulness, and revelation. So whether or not you have the 33rd gene key, hey Paula, whether or not you have the 33rd gene key in your human design chart or not, it's active for you right now. So it's part of your experience right now. So I wanted to talk a little bit about mindfulness and the act of remembering who you are. So I wanted to throw a couple terms at you that were addressed in the book. So when we come into this body, into this incarnation, we come forgetting who we once were. We don't remember our past lives. We don't remember where we come from, and we don't remember who we are. And so coming into this body, we get a fresh slate. And it's a journey back into understanding where we came from and why we chose this life and what we're here to do. And so the more you're questioning your existence and the more you're questioning who you are, the more you start unlocking different parts of you to remember. And it's through mindfulness that we are able to tap into the art of remembering. And that's all that this awakening is about remembering. So what happens when you're in the shadow of forgetting is it's literally that you've forgotten who you are. And you come into this life with karma, which is of your own choice, is what you have decided to take on to transmute, because we're co-creating this Maya, which is also called the illusion. So everything you see is projected, and we have created it for ourselves to experience ourselves. And this karma we have taken on so that we can transmute it and create a world that's more in alignment with like this new earth 5D paradigm that we're talking about. And so this is what Richard Rudd is saying. And so with this karma, you have stuff that are tightly woven within your DNA, right? And so you'll start playing out this karma in your life, and you'll get these different experiences, people, situations, circumstances that keeps you in this loop of this karma, right? And so it's part of your purpose in this lifetime is to unwind these sanskars. So what sanskars are here, I'll read from the book. So it's just on the first page where it's talking about the shadow. So the sanskaras are specific memories that you carry from life to life according to the karma you have taken on in this lifetime. These are actually far more than simple memories. They are charges of kinetic energy stored in the sheaths of your consciousness, which over time determine the shape of your life and your destiny. Sanskaras give rise to all human desires, which in turn create more sanskaras. So when you are in the state of forgetting, you're creating more and more sanskaras. So you are creating this net that you are encased in, and it's really hard to get out of it when you're not mindful of the pattern and programming that you have decided to take on. So it's in that forgetting that it's contributing to your suffering, contributing to this experience. The ancients say that you are caught in a wheel or a net of your own making, paradoxically unable to remember who you truly are because of the memories you keep creating. So you keep creating these memories to keep you forgetting who you are. And so that's kind of what the sanskaras are. And the only way for you to release the tight net that you have bound around you is by deciding that you want to remember yourself. That's it. Simple as that. And this is one of the 3 stop codons in the gene key. So that what that means is it's like this program. And so when you hit this gene key, it stops the pattern from continuing, and you get to kind of leap over and evolve and decide, like, what's this new experience you want? How do you want to evolve? And so for this one, since it's a stop codon, what it's going to do is when you decide that you want to remember, you stop forgetting. you start being mindful, and you start remembering who you are and where you came from. And with that, you start unwinding those sanskaras and releasing yourself and liberating yourself from them. So I don't know how much resonance I feel with like vows of poverty and vows of silence and all of this stuff, but for those of you that do resonate with that, the more mindful you are that you are not these things and you are not that you're just love, the more you're able to release that belief. Because when we can think of sanskaras as beliefs, and the more we're able to uncover these programs and patterns underneath us, these beliefs, and align more with love, the more we're shaping our reality in a way that we're choosing, and we're remembering that we are love, come to experience love here, instead of, because here we're in duality. So there's either fear or love. And so what are you identifying with? So if you're identifying with fear, then you're creating these tightly wound sanskaras that keep perpetuating the cycle of fear through the materialization of these experiences that create more fear. And so with that fear, it's just you just feel more and more constricted. Whereas love is unbounded and unconditional and very freeing. But when you don't remember that you're love, you feel like you are a victim of everything. It's when you feel like you're a victim. I'm a victim of my circumstance. I'm a victim of my upbringing. I'm a victim of my heritage. I'm a victim of my family. I'm a victim of this and that, right? And that's where you're giving your power away. But when we are tapped in and remembering to who we are, that we are God source creators, and that we are love, that's what we get to experience. And so those sanskars start to dissolve, and we're no longer associated with those programs and those belief patterns. So that's kind of how we start to unwind this. Mindfulness talks about the death of the ego. And, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this. In Buddhism, there is a well-known meditation technique called Vipassana. Although it can be translated in many ways, it points towards a witnessing self-awareness. In one sense, every one of the 64 gene keys is a type of vipassana, a self-witnessing that is a prelude to the shaking off of negative patterns of your shadows. True transcendence only occurs at the level of the city, but the bridge to these higher levels is the myriad of techniques and themes of the 64 gifts. At the gift frequency technique, it is still extremely valid, which is why meditation or contemplation is so helpful. For most people, it is the gift that is the most accessible route to the higher dimensions. In fact, you might say that the shadow is the seed, the gift is the flower, and the city is the fruit. One step automatically leads to the next step. Mindfulness is not really a technique, although it can be in the beginning. Mindfulness is the organic flowering of self-awareness or self-remembering. So when you start remembering yourself, you start noticing those patterns, those shadows. And that's why I love Gene Keys so much, is because literally all I do now is open to the book and be like, well, I turn to the 41st city. So I know that I'm going to be reading about emanation. So fantasy, anticipation, emanation. So I'm in emanation energy right now. So I know that that city is something that I need to look into. So I'm going to save this page. But it's cool to be able to dive into your shadows and notice the patterns. That's what I did for a while before. And you don't necessarily have to just go hang out in the shadows. It's your own journey. You can just focus on the gift. And because you're what you perceive and what you focus on persists, and it keeps manifesting and expanding. That's where you focus on love, and all of the fear and shadow starts to dissolve away, because you're focusing on the growth, you're focusing on the love, and the love is what fosters and grows and grows that seed into the flower and then into the fruit. So just by bringing your awareness to that gift frequency, you're able to transcend those shadows and give it the labor of love that it needs. And when you are not mindful, you keep running your patterns and your programs. You keep reacting. You keep having certain fears around things. You keep yourself in the Eden loop, in that biofeedback loop between you and your partner, because you're not recognizing when you're triggered. So it's in your triggers. We're here to transcend those triggers and to just feel love. So whenever you're triggered, it's a very beautiful opportunity for you to look and see why and flip that perspective into a loving perspective. So whenever you're feeling triggered, you can ask yourself, how can I see this with love? And you can also do another self-witnessing technique where you can look at yourself in the mirror and I am the love that I am, or there's different mantras. So you can just keep stating that so that you can see yourself with more love and then see the world with more love. And you can even do that in prayer where you're like, God, creator, source, energy, universe, help me see the world through your eyes. Help me, and this is called, what kind of vision? I can't remember the name of it anymore, but seeing people from God's eyes, or seeing yourself from God's eyes, is seeing yourself as whole and complete and that loving being in essence that you truly are, and not attaching yourself with this separation or the body, just really connecting into that light and essence that you are. And when you remember where you came from, source, love, and what you are, source, love, then every dis-ease, discomfort, unease in your body starts to dissolve, because that light that is shining in you starts to transmute this body so that you're only experiencing that love, and you're no longer experiencing discomfort and disease, and your sanskars start to just disappear, unravel. They're not real. They're illusions anyways. They come with this maya. They come with this illusion, these sanskars, this karma. Karma isn't real. Karma is not real for love. You know, it's just love. But when you come to the maya, when you come to this illusion, and I understand I'm getting kind of esoteric, when you come to this illusion, we forget. And we believe that we are this body, and that we are this experience, and that we are these emotions, and that we are these thoughts. So they hold us tighter and tighter and tighter. So what we're here to remember is that we're love. And when we can start remembering who we are and where we come from, we unravel ourselves from the maya and from the illusion, and then we start to create a world that we desire, and we start to just be able to be in this world but not of it. You understand? So this is a really, really beautiful and important one. So the art of mindfulness and contemplation is just you being able to witness yourself. So you are the observer, right? Observing yourself and observing the world, knowing that you are all of this, and that right now your experience is in this body. And being able to understand your thought process, how your emotions show up, and having that mindfulness to start remembering what a game this is, what a drama this is. We are literally, like Shakespeare says, we are players in a play. This is a drama. This is a divine drama. And the more you can understand that this is fake and a game and not real, the more you can unlock that lightness and ecstasy and joy within your being, because you know that the end of this is not the end. You're an eternal being, and you go on after this. And this is just for fun. So unlock that fun and allow yourself to play in this world. Tapping into your innocence and returning to the one and returning to your love is what's going to allow you to be able to just experience this life in bliss, regardless of what you're going through. Because bliss doesn't necessarily mean like happiness all the time. Bliss just means having that pure contentment with where you're at, because you understand where you come from and who you are, and you're no longer triggered. When you're forgetting, you're triggered all the time, because you start to think that your experiences, your emotions, people's responses and reactions to you mean something about you, but they mean nothing about you, or neutral. This is just an experience. We get to give meaning to this world. And so that's why we were talking about sanskars, because sanskars are basically beliefs. You get to rewrite your beliefs, rewrite your patterns. You get to decide what you want to experience. So if you believe you're love, then you're love. If you believe the world is filled with fear and that you need to protect yourself, you're going to have tons of opportunities to protect yourself. If you feel like you're naive and that you can be manipulated, you're going to have tons of experiences to tell you and prove that you're right. Because the fact is that whatever belief that you decide, it's true, whether it's a good experience or a bad experience. So be very conscious and mindful about what you're choosing to believe. And if you only want to associate with love and you want to experience love, then start accepting and embracing all aspects of yourself and all aspects of this. It doesn't mean that fear and turmoil and all that stuff doesn't exist anymore, because it is very much part of our reality, and stuff happens sometimes. But it just means that you are able to look at it with neutrality and know that there's a bigger plan, a bigger picture, and that it is all for love. We're here as love, trying to experience love. And there are journeys to get to that love and to experience that love. And we're here to be open to that wholeheartedly. So I just wanted to take a moment to come on and talk about that, because I feel like this gene key in particular is really what has catalyzed my own gene key journey, because of the mindfulness. I'm very adept at noticing patterns. I am very adept at seeing it in myself and seeing it in others. I'm able to witness that, because when you can come into a state of neutrality, it means nothing about you. It means nothing about them when you're noticing that stuff. You're just like, oh, look at this pattern we have decided to put ourselves into. Let's take ourselves out of it because it's a less than favorable experience. So just being mindful of that allows you to be to feel more in control of your experience. And it's not about control, right? Because love doesn't control. Love is limitless, love is boundless, and love accepts and embraces. So not necessarily like pushing away or pushing down anything. It's more about just seeing the love within everything and then changing your perspective. Because when you shift your perspective, your whole reality and experience changes. So anyways, just wanted to pop on and talk about that before we conclude this gene key, because it's done this Sunday. And then we move into guidance. So division, guidance, and virtue. It's pretty hefty one. So that one's going to be fun to talk about. If you are curious or wanting to dive deeper into the gene keys with us, you can join our Unlock Your Design community for $11 a month. I'll give you guys until Sunday to sign up, and then the price is going up to $22 a month. I totally forgot to but I'll extend until Sunday. So if you're wanting to join the Unlock Your Design group, you can join 11. So Sunday's the last for 11, and do community calls like this. More collaboration, and it's on Zoom, so we all can talk instead of like having this chat box. So definitely a fun community. You can talk to some of the people that are in it. If you guys want to comment and tell what your experience is in it, that's wonderful. So it's just more contemplation and diving deeper into it so that you can really grasp and understand this and try to dive into your own design and be more mindful, because it's all about mindfulness and contemplation and sharing your contemplations with others, just like I do here. Because sometimes it's really difficult to read this and understand it, and it has to really sink in, or you have to hear it differently, spoken differently from another person, or you have to call in those experiences, because it's one thing to learn it and it's another thing to experience it. So sometimes it's these experiences that we share together that allow us to have that deeper foundation, that deeper root, that deeper understanding of that gene key, because they're living essences. And if you want to call them in, you can call them in and experience that. And they have wisdom to share. So we're learning how to tap into that wisdom in that group. So if you're wanting to join us, I invite you to join us, and I'll post something in the group sometime today reminding you guys to join if you feel called. Anyways, have a great rest of your Friday and a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys all next week when we start talking about Gene Key 7. So I hope this was helpful, and I enjoy coming on and sharing my perspective and contemplations with this. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.